everybody, and welcome to Houston Life on this Thursday, May 7th already. Courtney, also known as Friday Eve. How's everything going there at home?
You know, we are plugging through. We've gotten through a lot of homeschooling today with, you know, no tears or anything. So I feel like we're winning. We are winning today.
Very nice, as do I. It's always nice to wake up in Houston on a beautiful day, such a gorgeous day in and around Houston.
Gorgeous.
And we, last night, you know, it was our first time using the Instant Pot. So we used just regular beans, like in a bag, right? Like hard beans in a bag. And Brandon created the most delicious refried beans, not using any lard. He did use a little olive oil, but we feel like we're winning. It's amazing how these days, even just the simplest accomplishments make us feel like we actually did something that day, right?
I know. Well, you have been doing things every day. Everybody's, you know, we're just not really, you know, going out, right? But I'm excited to hear about your beans. This was the first time that you guys used it, right? The Instant Pot?
Yes. I'm glad you're excited to hear about the beans. Yeah, it was great.
I am. You talked about it.
Well, and honestly, it sort of freaked me out because once it's all done, you have to hit the steam valve and let the steam all out. And my mom was telling me after yesterday's show that back in the day, her mom's pressure cooker, there were times when her mom would have to step out and say, hey, I'm going out to the backyard. You keep an eye on the pressure cooker. And it always freaked my mom out. And guys, I cannot believe how many of our viewers I heard from about the old school pressure cookers and also the Instant Pot. And by the way, they're not like a sponsor of our show. I'm not a paid endorser. I'm just a fan of it. And I'm glad that we got it and tried it. We cannot wait to try a bunch of new recipes, including recipes we've gotten from the viewers. And Courtney, remember the spaghetti squash conversation we had? Instead of taking an hour to do a whole spaghetti squash, you can do it in like 7 minutes.
It's crazy. And also, Orlando makes a really good risotto in there, which is also time-consuming, very difficult to do. So I'll share that recipe with you as well, because it's fantastic. Very good.
I would love that. It worked so well. You know what is not working out so well? Another huge topic of conversation on yesterday's show, which we sort of brought up accidentally, and then also a ton of you messaged us, the fruit flies at home. So still at home, we have this orange juice carafe with a paper funnel. I need to get a picture or video to show you guys. It's doing nothing. There are no fruit flies in there, but we were flooded with messages. Thank you so much for your ideas.
Yes.
And Courtney, this is such a hot topic with people. I had no idea. We actually booked a fruit fly / gnat / like sewer fly, some sort of fly expert for next week's show. So we're gonna dig deep on this topic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and I went down the rabbit hole. Speaking of digging deep, so we were doing the sudsy water in the big bowl, and now we have now put a wine in a vat because we heard that they sound like us, Derek. They're attracted to beer, apple cider vinegar, wine. So I mean, like, we could be swiping right here on this. I don't know what that means, but if you like them or not, whatever. But also, fruit flies are attracted to wet washcloths, sponges, sink drains. And this is crazy because I was like, are they ever going to just go away? They will not go away on their own. Once you have an infestation of a fruit fly family, it's war zone. The game is on. And they can lay up to 500 eggs at one time.
What?
One time. And before you know it, you will have a fruit fly Mageddon. It's like them against us. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to go away on their own.
So they can each lay up to 500 eggs.
Also,
so if you have a dozen fruit flies flying around and they each lay 500 eggs, that could be 6,000 fruit flies hatching. No wonder they just keep coming out of nowhere, right?
Out of nowhere. And the thing is, too, you know, they have the name fruit flies, so we think that they're attracted to just sweet things, and they're not. They're attracted to non-sweet things as well. So like onions, even potatoes. I mean, basically, there's not like one thing they don't like. So, and I think the bananas are, you know, the main source here. And the experts on the Googles say that once you see a tiny brown spot on a banana, put those said bananas in the refrigerator. Don't leave them out.
Interesting.
And wash your bananas.
But should you put and wash the bananas, right? Yeah, we also heard from a lot of people about that yesterday. Oops, you said it, not me. So should you put your bananas in the fridge just to sort of prevent them, or would that make them ripen a little too soon? We got to get to the bottom of this. I still have a million questions.
I don't know. I mean, I went down the rabbit hole on this one. And like I said, now I'm doing the red wine thing, which one of my friends messaged me on Instagram, was like, girl, don't waste your wine, just put apple cider vinegar. And I said, well, this was kind of like I don't know, it was in like a fruit basket or something that I got. So I'm not really sure. We just opened it up and let the fruit flies get happy and drunk in that
can I ask,
red wine vat.
Can I offer some advice, though? If you are going to do the red wine thing, at least put a piece of tape over the cup or something else, because in our master bedroom, we have under the TV sort of this tall chest of drawers, right? And it's not uncommon for us to like set a cocktail on there while we're, I don't know. It's just like, it's a place where we put things down, right? So we may be like, oh, you put your glass of wine down as you go into the closet and change your socks or something. And then you come back and you pick up the wine. There was a little cup of red wine. Don't worry. Miranda, sorry.
Did it spill? What is happening with this story?
So there is one other person in studio with me today.
Worried.
It's Miranda, our stage manager, who's cueing. Just wave your hand in front of the camera, Miranda, so people can see your hand, that you're there. There she is, in her COVID gloved hand.
Hi, Miranda.
So she was worried that I drank the wine. I didn't drink the bug-filled wine. However, I did go for the wine, and before it met my lips, I realized that Brandon had put it there to collect the fruit flies. So again, don't just go leaving cups of wine around your house, because in a moment of confusion, you might take a sip of the dead fly juice.
Desperation.
Yes.
So this is in like a glass mixing bowl. You know, it's like kind of a giant handle. That's going to be a serious, need for a glass of wine, I guess. But it's in the kitchen, not in bedroom.
The other issue, though, with the giant glass mixing bowl is that at some point, like, we had people writing in with all kinds of suggestions about, like, tape you could put up all over your house. You don't want it to be the jungle of, like, fly tape everywhere in your house, right? And my concern that if you're putting these big bowls, which aren't very stable, you can knock those over. Hello, owner of a new puppy, Courtney. Like, all it takes is one reach for Oscar to put his paw on the side of that bowl, and you have suds everywhere. My grandmother, my late grandmother, rest her soul, she would be 100 now. When she was living in Milford, Utah, a small railroad town, population 2,000, right, southern Utah, she had this theory. Someone had told her once that if you take these gigantic plastic milk jugs and you cut the top off and you fill them with water and you put them all over your yard, then that keeps dogs away. I think I mentioned this on the show one time. So it keeps dogs from going to the bathroom in your yard. So I remember we would pull up at Grandma's house and she would have these plastic milk jugs all over her front yard. And I was like, bro, it's great that the dogs are still coming like to your yards to use the bathroom, but the milk jug's also not a good look, right? So I feel like we need to weigh the fruit flies with all of this stuff we're putting around the house to try to catch them.
I know. And you know what? I will tell you, the fruit flies in my house, I noticed before I came up to Studio 1H, I was checking on them.
Oh, okay.
Red wine, of course. They were on the perimeter of said container. So they weren't quite like diving in just yet.
Yeah.
It's like they're too smart. Like they're teasing me. They're about to go in, but they're not going to. And the one on the perimeter is like, hey man, don't fly in. It's a trap.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get out. It's like they're talking to each other.
But why even get close to the edge? That's why I think the apple cider vinegar with a little bit of dish soap, we have tried it. It does seem to work. It just doesn't get all of them. And I think what that does is, as they're teetering on the side of the glass, debating whether to jump in, the fumes probably sort of make them dizzy, and then they fall in and drown in that delicious bath.
Well, I tried to flick one. I tried to flick one in, but it didn't work.
Let me guess, it flew away.
Hashtag boy mom.
Oh man. Yeah,
I know.
What I don't like,
I'm just tired of them. And they're everywhere.
When they dive bomb you, when they go for your face, that's what's annoying, right? Typically, we have dinner at the bar or at the dining table, but these days, let's be honest, we're eating dinner on the couch, right? So we could be eating dinner on the couch, watching whatever, Ellen's Game of Games. Brandon had a dream we were contestants on that show the other night, by the way. That would be fun. But you're sitting there eating your dinner, and suddenly this fruit fly is like circling your face. Anyway, speaking of things that fly, you know that today on the show, we're also going to have a bee expert. This is fascinating. People are talking about those murder bees, and we're concerned about if and when they might make their way into Houston. Luckily, none have been spotted here yet. They're supposed to be huge, right? Like 2 inches long. And if they sting you repeatedly, it could be fatal. So we're going to get to the bottom of all of this fear and learn more about what these bees look like. And plenty of people are concerned that they already have murder bees in their backyard. Don't worry, people. You don't. They're probably just big bugs. And there are ways that we can safely sort of encourage them to leave without hurting them.
You know, when I was, I think I was in like maybe 3rd or 4th grade, and I got stung by, I don't know if it was actually 2 hornets or if it was like, can you get stung twice by the same one? I don't remember, but it was actually on my arm. Okay. And I kind of went to go swat it away, so I ended up getting 2 different bites on my arm. And y'all, I mean, my entire left side, including my jaw, swelled up. And I need to call my mom because I'm almost certain that was like an allergic reaction. My fingers, my hand, I couldn't bend my fingers. I think I was in 3rd grade when this happened. And so now I'm like completely freaked out about this story because was that an allergic reaction? Like, I don't remember the details other than I remember looking in the mirror and seeing just like the swollenness on one side of my body. Not funny, but I don't remember. I need to call my mom and ask her about it. But I do remember it was 2 different stings. So I don't know if I like swatted it and there were 2 hornets or 1. I don't remember, but it was a horrible reaction.
Yeah,
horrible.
It's very common. So many people are allergic and they don't even realize it. And the thing is, there are so many different species that you might not be allergic to one, but you could be allergic to another. I need to go through my phone. You know, my phone is a mess of pictures, right? It's so hard to find a picture in your phone. But years ago, I don't remember where I was, but a bee like dive bombed me right into my face and stung me on my forehead and thought, ow. I mean, it happened so fast, I couldn't believe. It was like he had a target, he was going straight for the bullseye. And I remember thinking, okay, well, that was a bee sting, and that's strange because usually bees are not aggressive like that and they leave you alone. And I woke up the next day and my face, I mean, it was unrecognizable. It looked like I had this Hollywood prosthetic mask applied to my face. So there are ways that we can all cohabitate, of course, because bees are critical to our ecosystems and they provide us with fruits and vegetables and flowers. The pollination is incredible. And we've seen in recent years the bee population on a decline in America, which is very alarming to scientists. There's so many unanswered questions out there. So today, maybe we'll get some answers, and certainly do not be alarmed because, again, we do not have these murder bees in our area just yet. And on tomorrow's show, we should mention that we're going to get to some of these funny quarantine memes that y'all have been submitting on our Facebook page. Also, some things that people feel very strongly about these days. It's amazing how quarantine, Courtney, some extra time at home means people's, I don't know, stress levels are kind of going up in many ways. So we're going to get into some fun topics on tomorrow's show.
Oh, it's going to be really good. Some of the responses on Facebook are awesome. Good stuff. Also, coming up on today's show, let's talk about this because we have senior shout-outs celebrating our Houston area class of 2020. Visit click2houston.com and search Senior Yearbook. Submit your picture for a chance to be featured. And we're going to share some of those pictures a little later on in today's show.
Yeah, a lot of deserving grads out there. They need to be recognized. Plus, the need for safe and affordable housing in Houston. We're going to check in with our friends from Houston Habitat for Humanity, how they are helping to break the barriers of home ownership. And during this stay-at-home time, they are still serving families. Housing is available, offering virtual workshops as well, including online resources for homeowners like home maintenance, Courtney.
Very cool. And after the break, guys, Astros player Joe Smith and his wife, Allie LaForce. She's also a sports reporter. They're going to share how you can help support healthcare heroes in our area by providing them with free meals. That's coming up right after the break. Well, welcome back. You know, seeing the effects of COVID-19 in the healthcare and restaurant communities, Houston Astros pitcher Joe Smith and his wife, sports reporter Allie LaForce, decided to do something.
They sure did. They are committed to helping keeping kitchens open, workers employed, and providing meals to our healthcare heroes through Project Frontline. They are joining us now with details on how we can all help. Allie and Joe, welcome back to Houston Life. It's great to see you there from your temporary home before the season officially starts. So let's just jump right in. Project Frontline. How did this all begin?
Yeah, it started with our foundation, Athletes and Causes. They came up with this idea and did a delivery over in the Tampa area, and they called us and asked if we'd be interested in kind of doing the same thing. And Lance and his McCullers and his wife Kara, they're with Athletes and Causes as well. So we kind of got together and we're like, yeah, sure. The healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, and anybody else, obviously, that works in a hospital, they're working long hours. They're, I think just
sacrificing everything for the safety of their family.
So just to send them, a meal, just to say thank you, is kind of how it started. And that way I don't know what kind of foods they got there in their cafeterias and stuff, but I'm sure if the menu ain't changing as much as you'd like to have, something good from your, favorite restaurant or whatever. And it also gives us a way to help the restaurants get some revenue through there so they can hopefully, pay some employees and their bills and kind of keep their doors open through this tough time when, you can't go out to eat. Not a lot of people are ordering. A lot of people are cooking at home. So just kind of trying to help, both sides a little bit.
What is so great, you guys, is that this is really transferred around the country. So you started feeding healthcare workers in Ohio and Houston. It has now spread to Arizona, California. About 9,000 meals and deliveries are scheduled every day for the rest of the month. I mean, that is really, really incredible. But of course, let's talk about what's happening here in Houston, because I know both of you, it really touches your heart to be able to get into the community, Joe, that people want to see you back on the mound. We want to get our players back on the field, but you're doing such great things in our community.
Well, we're trying. I mean, I think it was really neat when we first joined the Astros, in 2018. We saw the players in 17 after Harvey came. It was unbelievable what I felt like for the Astros players, what they did and helped and tried to do for that community. And that's one of the things I thought was awesome when I first walked in, and it's only grown. And I think now
it's different than any team we've ever played on, just the way the players wanted to help.
And I think you're seeing that now, Justin Verlander and Kate, Lance and Kara, Breggy and Reagan, Carlos and Dougie. I mean, you can go down the list of, Red and his wife. Like, there are so many teammates on the Astros that are, whether it's through Project Frontline, whether it's the, Feed Houston to Breggy, whether it's JV picking a different cause, it's amazing how many people are trying to reach out in the community. And it's really cool because you get to see young athletes trying to use their, influence for the good of a community. And obviously doing this in Houston, we've come down there and gotten treated with Southern hospitality, and we love that city and the people that are in it. And just
we have so many friends too that are like nurses, doctors, teachers, and they don't have funds to give right now to help out people with meals or to help local restaurants, because they're basically working overtime, working 3 times as hard, trying to take care of their own family at home in quarantine. So it's a privilege to be in a position where you have the finances to help. And I think that's what is so rewarding about this, is you feel trapped, like you can't help, but we're in a position where we can, and Joe's teammates have all done the same thing and stepped up and helped. And we can say every penny that we've raised through Frontline has supported a local hospital or a local restaurant to feed a local hospital. So we're super excited about it.
It's great that the way this whole thing is structured is that it does help the restaurants, but you're also feeding folks on the front line. To date, you've collected about $120,000 of your $200,000 goal. You've delivered meals to medical staff at Lyndon B. Johnson Hospital in Houston, Texas Children's, Methodist, Memorial Hermann. The list goes on and on. What's the best way, Allie and Joe, for the rest of us to get involved? Because I understand it's just a simple donation, and as you mentioned, that money goes straight toward the cause.
Exactly.
Yeah, athletesinCauses.org. You'll see it. It'll say join. It says Project Frontline right there. Hit, join the movement, and there'll be a donate tab, and you can put in any amount. I mean, most meals where I think we're finding are about $10. So if you got $10, great. You're giving somebody a meal. If you got more, awesome. But just if you want to say thank you to a frontline worker and you'd like to send a meal, great.
And if you're someone that's able to fund 300, 500, 1,000 meals, and there's a hospital that means something to you locally, treated a son or a daughter of yours, or gave you a life-saving surgery, just shoot us a message on social media too, on either one of our handles, and let us know that if you make a donation, you want it to go to healthcare workers at a specific local Houston hospital, and we can try to make that happen for you as well.
It's really great. We love your mission. We love seeing you guys, Joe Smith and Allie LaForce. We need you back in Houston, but you guys are doing such great things. We miss you, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
We miss you too. Hopefully soon. Hang in there, guys.
Thanks.
And for more information, go to our website and click on the Scene on Houston Life section.
And still to come on Houston Life, we are continuing our spotlight on the class of 2020 and sending a shout out to some local high school seniors. That's next.
And welcome back to Houston Life. It is our favorite time. Not only do we have senior shout outs, but this is a shout out to my HL artist today who this artwork comes from 6th grader Meadow, which this is the first time I've seen an artist do this. Do you see it, Derek? It's leaves and petals.
It's a nice little collage.
And different things that she found around outside. Yeah.
And very inspiring, Meadow. Nicely done. That is beautiful. Very, very nice.
I know, very excited. Thanks so much, Meadow. Very sweet. Again, 6th grader. Love to have all of the artwork that we've been displaying daily. And we do have some very special senior to recognize on today's show. The school year may have been cut short, of course, but the class of 2020 has so much to celebrate.
They certainly do. First up, we have graduating senior Sir H. Sir is an Atascocita High School track star and UIL regional medalist going to UT Rio Grande Valley on a track scholarship. Congratulations. Well deserved.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Next is Gage D. He's a 3-year member of the FFA. He's also on National Honor Society student and will be going to Blinn College in the fall. Congratulations.
Very impressive, Gabe. Nicely done. And Blaine L. is pictured here. Blaine will attend Lone Star College in the fall. While finishing this school year remotely, he is serving our local community by working at Kroger right there on the front lines.
Fantastic. Congratulations to all of our graduates. We continue to share photos from KPRC's 2 senior yearbook right here on Houston Life, and you can submit yours now. Just go to click2houston.com and search Senior Yearbook.
And after the break, Lauren Kelly gets some advice on what to do about all those pesky bees making their way to your backyard for the summer.
That's right. Houston's own Bee-Man Dan gives us the buzz. Coming up next. Oh, welcome back. You know, the latest buzz may be about those huge murder hornets that we've heard about and seen making their way to the U.S., but those are probably not in Texas at the moment. Something that Houston does have to deal with is bumblebees, wasps, especially as the temperatures get warmer.
And we should point out that they are our friends and they have their own habitats. But like many Houstonians, Lauren Kelly has already seen a fair share of huge bees in her own backyard. And she wanted info on how to get rid of them without harming them. She's talking to Houston bee expert Bee-Man Dan, who has a few tips for us.
I'm on this interview right now with B-Man Dan. Thank you for joining us on Houston Life today. Now, there are so many friends of mine who have so many questions on all of the bees and wasps and insects in their backyard, especially for the summertime. Is this just like Bee Central? Is this when they really come out and show themselves?
Yeah, so this is what beekeepers refer to as swarm season. And this is the time of the year where honeybees, they reproduce. And pretty much the way that happens is the queen will go into overtime. She'll start laying up to 3,000 eggs a day. All those eggs cumulatively together will actually outweigh her by twice as much. So that's insane how much they're feeding her to actually be able to pop out so many eggs like that. And she'll keep doing this pretty much every day until the hive actually becomes overpopulated. And with a hive like this, if this hive was ready to be splitting, that when it becomes overpopulated, they would start massing on the outside, just hanging on one another because there's no room for the inside.
B-Man Dan, let me ask you this. Here in the Kelly household, my first reaction is to, like you said, grab the bottle of Raid, because in my head, I'm worried that these bees are gonna sting myself and my boyfriend and my pets. Are they out to get us? Is there a way to just kind of avoid that? What is the thing that we should do to not just charge for a bottle of pesticide?
Well, the pesticides won't serve you any good in any case. Not unless it's like a honeybee that's in the kitchen and you're just taking care of that one honeybee. But even then, honeybees they're actually really docile, and I'm making a point by just sitting right next to them. These bees haven't stung me once yet. They will typically give you 2 warnings before they sting you. And the first warning is they'll buzz in front of your face, around your ears, to kind of get your attention, because they could fly silently if they wanted to. And the second warning is they'll fly to 45 miles an hour and they'll bump you in the back of the head.
Oh.
And our beekeepers say if you're still sticking around agitating them after all those warnings, you're probably going to get stung and you deserved it.
If you notice a wasp nest, what's the first thing that you should do besides run? What's next?
So, wasps, we're not really experiencing a shortage, and honestly, they're mean.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't hide this fact, but I do not make an effort to save wasps. I will save carpenter. I will save any kind of bee and honeybees. With the exception of Africanized killer bees, which they're known to be so aggressive that they'll kill horses and they're insane.
I hope that's not what's in my backyard right now.
If it was, you would probably know.
Thank you so much for joining us on Houston Live today. And if anybody wants information on how to get you to come on out and maybe remove any hives that they have, or to just take a look, or if you need to ask and answer some questions, you can find him HoustonBeemanDan.com or at HoustonLife.tv. Thanks, Dan.
Oh, thanks so much, Lauren. What a great conversation.
Yeah, very nice. And coming up next on Houston Life, May is Stroke Awareness Month. We are sharing more on how you can spot a stroke and what to do next after the break. Welcome back. Did you know that stroke is the nation's 5th leading cause of death? While COVID-19 may be on everyone's mind, May is Stroke Awareness Month, so we're dispelling common stroke myths and sharing what you can do to reduce risks. Joining us now is Memorial Hermann Texas Medical Center affiliated UT Health Neurosciences physician, Dr. Angel Sharif, who's also part of the UT Health Stroke Institute. Welcome, doctor. It's nice to see you. And preparing for a stroke, this is something that I think a lot of our viewers may be surprised to hear, that this is one of the leading causes of death. So let's get into some of the signs and ways to, avoid our risk.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for having me. So the important signs of stroke, we use an acronym, BFAST, to help explain what the important signs of stroke are. So B stands for sudden loss of balance. E stands for problems with the eye, so sudden problems with double vision or loss of vision. F stands for face, so facial weakness or facial droop. A is for arm, so sudden difficulty with numbness in the arm or weakness in the arm or drift in the arm. S is for speech, so sudden difficulties with speech. either expressing language or understanding language. And T is for time. So we say time is brain. It's critically important to seek care right away when one has signs or symptoms of stroke.
And wants to help reduce viewers' risks, dispel myths, and be ready. And these days, especially in light of COVID-19, you are taking precautions to ensure the safety of patients, employees, and physicians.
Absolutely. So one thing that we've seen is that our numbers in terms of the patients presenting with stroke have decreased over the past couple of months. And what I'm concerned about as someone who takes care of stroke patients is that people aren't seeking care when they should be seeking care because of fears about the COVID-19 pandemic. So we want to ensure patients that it's safe to seek care, and it's important to seek care because not seeking care for a stroke can lead to death and severe disability. So at Memorial Hermann, like at other hospitals, we're doing all that we can to ensure patient safety. We're screening patients and visitors when they come in and providing masks. We're making sure the rooms are cleaned. We're making sure equipment is cleaned in between patients, just to keep everyone safe.
And let's talk a little bit about how critically ill patients are diagnosed and treated. So I know there are a number of risk factors that may increase your risk of stroke, but is it true that really a stroke can happen to anyone at any time?
Right. A stroke can happen to anyone at any time, at any age, really. We're actually seeing stroke in young increasing over the past several years. There are important risk factors for stroke, though, and some of them are things that we can change, and some of them are things that we can't change. Important risk factors that we can't really change are things like our age. Stroke risk increases with age, and our sex or gender, so there's an increased lifetime risk of stroke in women. The things that we can change are things like high blood pressure, which is one of the most common risk factors for stroke. So it's really important to have your blood pressure treated. Diabetes, high cholesterol, and then an abnormal heart rhythm called atrial fibrillation.
And if we do have some of these conditions, is it true that diet changes, lifestyle changes, exercise, that those things can all decrease our risk?
Absolutely. So diet and exercise really contributes to the risk of those other things that I mentioned. So, for example, high blood pressure and diabetes and cholesterol control, diet and exercise helps to avoid those things from developing in the first place. And if you do have them, it helps to control the numbers for blood pressure and diabetes and cholesterol especially.
Let's get into some of the myths. Some people have described a stroke similar to a heart attack. Is that a myth?
So the risk factors for a stroke and heart disease or heart attack are similar, but a stroke occurs in the brain, whereas a heart attack occurs in the heart. A stroke occurs when a part of the brain doesn't get enough oxygen, either because of a blockage in a blood vessel or because of a rupture of a blood vessel.
Another myth is that a stroke is a brain bleed, right? But that's not technically correct.
Right. So the majority of strokes, approximately 85% of them, are what we call ischemic strokes, and they occur when there's a blockage in the brain, either from plaque buildup or clot that develops. The other 15% or so are bleeding types of stroke, and that occurs when there's a rupture of a blood vessel or when a blood vessel bursts.
Another myth is that there aren't treatments to handle a stroke, but that's also untrue because there are a number of different things that can be done.
Absolutely, and stroke treatment and care has really changed drastically over the past several years. So for some time, we've had the clot-busting medication, TPA, that people know about. And that medication is for ischemic type of stroke, when there's a clot or a blockage. And it really helps to dissolve the clot. And at hospitals, if you present fast enough, you can get that medication within 4.5 hours or so of stroke symptoms. The other treatment that really has been proven to be effective in the past 5 years or so is where we can actually go into the blood vessel in the brain and pull the clot out. And that really causes a dramatic improvement in outcomes, and it really decreases disability that occurs with stroke.
It really is so incredible, the treatments that are available. I know earlier in the segment we did put up a graphic on our screen. I'm going to ask our control room just to pop that up again, just so we can be sure we have these signs. Again, that acronym is BFAST: balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and time. So remember this, folks at home. And very quickly, doctor, we have about a minute left. Of course, you do not want, you mentioned this earlier, but we can't stress it enough, that if someone is experiencing any of these symptoms, do not avoid care right now in light of COVID-19. You've got to call 911 and you've got to get in right away.
Yes, it's critically important to reduce your risk of disability and reduce your risk of death if you have stroke signs or symptoms, to call 911 right away.
And also, you want to seek the highest level of care. I mean, this is not something that people should just be going anyplace. You guys have a proven track record, including some of the procedures you just mentioned.
Right. So at Memorial Hermann Hospital, we have comprehensive stroke centers as well as primary stroke centers where you will get the absolute best care for your stroke acutely and in the long term for stroke prevention.
And of course, we should point out that visitors will not be allowed with limited exception because of COVID-19. Thorough cleanings are happening, and patients before any surgery, they are tested for COVID-19.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, Dr. Angel Sharif, thank you so much for your time today. Stay safe, everyone. And for more information, you can visit memorialhermann.org/stroke or call 713-704-7100. Still ahead on Houston Life, there is no place like home. How Habitat for Humanity in Houston is helping local families build a better future. That's next. We've all been following guidelines and recommendations to quarantine and stay home. But what if you don't have a place of your own to call home? The executive director of Houston Habitat for Humanity, Allison Hay, joins us now to talk about how their organization is helping local families build a better future. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you there in the office. And I'm so glad, Allison, we're having this conversation today, because right now the need for affordable housing, obviously during a pandemic, that need continues. So explain to our viewers how your operation has continued during this time.
Well, everybody's had to learn how to do things differently. But when it gets down to basics like shelter, a place to be, you may want to do it differently, but you still want to be able to continue to move forward. We have incorporated so many safety protocols, but we're still out building homes with staff that we have, and we have on-the-job training folks, because the need has not stopped. In fact, our phone has been ringing since the stay-at-home protocol, the order came in, for people to ask for shelter. They realize now, being in a place where they've been for 24/7, it's not the safe home that they really want. So we've seen an uptick in families calling and asking how they get into the program.
And describe to us, Allison, just the need for safe and affordable housing in Houston, because clearly we're one of the largest cities in the country. We have a booming population, but there are so many folks in our city who are living in substandard or very overcrowded conditions.
Well, we are one of the third or fourth largest city. We think of ourselves as being a very big city, right? 554 miles. But what you don't realize is that we also have a community that doesn't have enough housing to start with. We're a booming town. So when Harvey hit, we had so many homes that were flooded, apartments and homes that were flooded. So all of that housing stock has yet to come back online. So now they've moved into areas they think are safe from flooding, but they may be staying with family. Grandparents and their kids have come home because everybody's now trying to make do with what they have. And if you can think about having a family that a one-bedroom apartment, which was good for maybe a family of three, but then you have all of these other family members that cannot find safe and healthy housing. Then you've got an overcrowding situation. We have limited housing stock in Houston that can take the boom of people coming to look for the land of opportunity in Houston, and then you add that to asking us to stay indoors, stay close. You can just see that need just multiply. And let's talk about the crowding. We talk about social distancing right now, right? It would be easy to social distance if you could, but if you have a house or a family that's in close quarters, there's no way to social distance. So everybody is at risk when you don't have safe, affordable housing.
Yeah, and the homes that you build too, 3 or 4 bedrooms, a couple of bathrooms. One of our proudest partnerships here at KPRC is the build. We work every year starting in January. Our staff gets together and we help out on the home build. Let's talk about the process, because I think one of the misconceptions out there is that these homes are just given away for free, that you're giving out free homes. That is not the case, right?
No, sir. That's Houston Habitat in general. Our mission is to partner with a community and with families that need housing to help them actually build their home, and then teach them how to have the financial integrity to get stronger in their finances so that they can own a home with an affordable mortgage. It is theirs. They work hard for it, and they pay their mortgage every month.
That is fantastic. So essentially, you're helping to remove some of these barriers to homeownership. A lot of people who couldn't otherwise qualify.
So it's a technical process. Anybody who's tried to fill out an application for a mortgage, for a car, they realize that that is not designed to be user-friendly. We try to break down the barriers for our families. We're a very diverse city. We have many languages that come from all over. Our job for Houston Habitat is to offer a hand up, to have them, give them some expertise, show them how to navigate the financial systems that we have, talk to them about budgeting and how to start to dream big goals, and then we help them achieve those goals.
And also resources that you provide. I mean, everything from learning more about finances, as you mentioned, but even home maintenance resources. So people can learn how to become like responsible homeowners, essentially.
That is correct. And you know what's interesting? During this pandemic, we realized your home still has to be repaired. So we've created a virtual home maintenance class with our warranty gentleman, and it is, I think it's going to take off. I've learned a lot watching him. They're in a home, and they are creating a virtual home maintenance YouTube channel, so our homeowners can go on there, and they may have forgotten how to do one of those steps, and we'll have it readily available for them.
That is fantastic. And I'm sure there are viewers out there right now, Allison, who are wondering how they can apply. Maybe they know someone who might qualify. So talk us through that process.
The process right now would be, for always, is for you to actually want or to have a need for a home. If you do that, you would go to our website, www.houstonhabitat.org, and click on home ownership. We are having virtual homeownership classes every month. We have one in English and one in Spanish. And we are able then to help families remotely learn more about our program. And if you've had one of those classes before and now you've decided it's really time for you to invest in a home, then we will send you an application. You'll be able to fill it out, drop it, or mail it back to us. We have a slot at the front of our building that actually takes all of the applications in if they like. They have questions. We have the phone numbers for our homeowner assistance people that you can call and ask questions directly. This is a process we never want you to feel alone on, because we know if you can commit to working hard for your family, Houston Habitat is there for you to guide you, to help you with your steps. But the first thing you have to do is go online, listen to a homeownership class, fill out an application, and then we're ready to go. We will meet with you through any of these online virtual classes. We'd love to meet you in person when that time commits, because when we do, you'll be able then to go with us and hammer with our great volunteers like KPRC Channel 2, and we'll be able to help them build their home.
That is awesome. Allison, thank you so much. We're over time, but very quickly, if someone wants to volunteer or help with your mission, do they also visit your website?
Yes, www.houstonhabitat.org.
Okay, very nice. Allison Hay, thank you so much, and to the entire Habitat team and volunteers, thank you for your work in the community to build safe and affordable housing for Houstonians. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you as well. We'll be right back.
Well, coming up on tomorrow's show, we have Mother's Day takeout menus. We have a roundup of some of the best Mother's Day to-go menus from around town, recommended by mother and, of course, friend of the show, Tangi Patton. She's the woman that knows it all when it comes to food.
She sure does. Bring your appetites, folks. And also on tomorrow's Finance Friday, a lot of people have lost their jobs due to the coronavirus. We just saw those updated unemployment numbers today. So 5 steps to consider taking to help you out during the crisis. A lot of people these days are talking about and worried about finances, and don't worry, we've got you covered.
That's right. And before we go today, we have a few more graduating seniors to recognize. And first up, we have Baronce L. Baronce L. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm sorry. She's graduating in the top 7% of her class, participating in NHS, soccer team captain, Leo Club secretary, Justice League, and student council. Sounds like we haven't heard the last of you, girl. Congratulations.
Very nice, Beyonce. Congrats. Next is Alyssa G. She will be attending Texas State University in the fall, and she's got a big smile on her face, ready to go. Go Bobcats.
And Layla P., she's graduating from George Bush High School with honors. She's an active Girl Scout in NHS and a social officer with the Illusions dance team. She's also a student council officer and theater member, and she's going to be heading to UT Austin in the fall. Congratulations.
And congrats to all the graduates. We'll continue sharing photos from KPRC2's senior yearbook right here on Houston Life. You can submit yours right now. Just go to clicktohouston.com and search Senior Yearbook.
That's right. Well, that's going to do it for us today on this Friday Eve. Have a good one.
Enjoy it. We'll see you back tomorrow.